What's up, everybody? Kyle Evans here from the Kyle Evans Real Estate Channel. Today I have a new video on home buying and what are 6 things that you should look for when you're out shopping for a home. So, of course, there's more than 6 things that you should be looking at when you're buying a home, but these 6 things I find to be some of the most important things and something that I think all buyers should have in mind when they're looking for a house, especially in this market where things are moving so quickly. You might only get a chance to see the house once real quick, in a 30-minute period. Make sure that these 6 things are looked for, especially if you don't plan to have a home inspection, which I always recommend to have a home inspection. But the first thing you're going to notice right when you pull up to the house, and that's going to be the roof. Okay, so what is the roof looking like? In Buffalo, New York here, sometimes the roofs are covered in snow, unfortunately. But if it's not, and you could get a good eye on that roof, make sure that it's in good shape. You could usually tell if a roof is on its last leg just by the shingles crumbling or missing shingles, or it just looking like a really old, deteriorated roof. But again, a home inspector would know better, or a roofer if you have any concerns. But the roof, very important. Most people don't want to move into a house and have to replace the roof right away, unless you're buying it for investment reasons and you think that makes sense for that particular investment. The second thing will be the windows of the house. Replacing windows in a house can be very expensive. Even if you're doing them yourself, it's a lot cheaper if you could do them yourself, but it's not the easiest thing to do, and regardless, buying windows isn't cheap. So you want to make sure that the windows are all in good shape, they're not broken, falling apart, they open and they shut easily, unless you feel like replacing all the windows, but most people, again, don't want to do that. It's a large expense. The third thing, a little less expensive but important, is the age of the furnace and the air conditioning. If you have to replace a furnace and AC unit, that cost can add up, and a lot of home buyers don't want to have to do that right when they're moving into a house. Now, with that being said, just because a furnace or an AC unit are older doesn't mean that you're going to have to replace them right away. If you have a home inspection, they usually look at those things a little bit more thoroughly, but it's just something to keep in mind. And another thing is, if the house doesn't have air conditioning, it's good to know, does it have a boiler or is it forced air? Because if it's not forced air, it could be more expensive to have AC installed into the home. So just something to think about. The fourth thing goes without saying is the home's foundation. Okay, so real estate agents, they kind of know what issues look like and when they're going through a house, but we are not home inspectors, we're not structural engineers. But you want to make sure that the foundation at least looks okay. You're not seeing huge cracks in the walls or a lot of water coming in. Those are automatically red flags. It doesn't always mean that the house can't be bought or an issue can't be fixed, but it's something to keep in mind, and it's something that if you have a home inspection, a home inspector will also be able to notice things like that too. The next thing is the electrical system. The electrical system isn't super expensive to replace. It could be anywhere from $1,800 to $2,500 or more, depending on where the location is and what exactly has to be done. But you want to make sure that the electrical is sufficient for the size of the house. And if it's old fuses, I would recommend, even if they're working correctly, that you update that electrical, just to make it a little bit more safe and efficient for today's appliances. And then the last and 6th thing is something that you may not be able to see as easily with the naked eye if you're not trained, but the plumbing of the house. At least make sure that the sinks are running, you have good water pressure, that you can run the sink and flush the toilet at the same time without the water pressure cutting off. Those would all signal possible issues. You want to make sure that there's no evidence of leaks under sinks and things like that, or toilet leaking. And that's something a home inspector will also be able to look at for you, but something that you can look at when you're in the house and just kind of keep your eye on. Now, if you're working with a real estate agent, most of them will point these things out to you. I know I do with all my clients. But again, there's more than that just to look at. Those are just 6 things to get you started, 6 very important things that you don't want to leave out. If you have any other questions about what to look for when you're out looking for homes, or what to keep your eye on, just give me a call, 716-445-8169. Or you could also email me anytime at kyle.evans@huntrealestate.com, or feel free to message me or comment below on the video here. Like it and share it with your friends. We'll see you on the next one.